All right, coming up, we've got Captain America Civil War. My favorite, that's right, favorite Marvel movie, excepting Avengers Infinity War. So check it out. We're back for another episode of Watch Culture. I'm Tim, and today we're talking about dun 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 Captain America Civil War. That's right, the third entry in the Captain America movies and the 13th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, and a host of other people. And I'll try and remember all of them at some point through the video, but it'll take forever if I list them all. But you know that it has pretty much all the Avengers in it, plus Daniel Bruhl in a role as Baron Zemo or Helmut Zemo, depending on what your opinions are if you've seen the movie before. So this is a story about, it's a continuation of the story of Winter Soldier. So Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, was originally Bucky Barnes, Captain America's sidekick, and Chris Evans, Steve Rogers' best friend. So in this story, we find out that the Winter Soldier is being accused of causing attacks all over the world, and in fact, he's blamed for the murder of King T'Chaka, who is the ruler, king of the nation of Wakanda. And this is how we are introduced to T'Challa, the Black Panther. In this story, we get some great appearances from Tom Holland as a first ever appearance of Spider-Man in the MCU. We also get Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. We get to see some really cool interactions with the Wakandan, what are they called? The Guard, the Damaj? Hey Google, what are the Wakandan Guard called in Black Panther?
Sorry, I don't understand.
It's okay, I don't remember either. On top of that, we get to see that Thor and Hulk are absent from the movie, and the reason for this is and it's awesome because it's a setup for Thor Ragnarok, which is also in my top 5 movies, and proof that Captain America Civil War is amazing. So Hulk and Thor are absent. Thor being absent because of Age of Ultron. He got a vision from Scarlet Witch, which sent him off in search of the Infinity Stones, and Hulk just pieced out because he was like, I'm sick of dealing with all this stuff. So he ended up landing in Sakaar, and that's Thor Ragnarok, but that's a different video. So for Captain America Civil War, what's happened is that the nation of Wakanda and a bunch of other countries get together to sign the UN peace accord for what they're calling Sokovia Accords, because the Avengers have been working to take care of bad guys, and they're trying to take care of Crossbones, who is a villain of Captain America's from Captain America's Winter Soldier. Anyway, what happens is there's an explosion in Sokovia, and as a consequence, Scarlet Witch tries to contain it and throw Crossbones away, but he ends up like blowing up part of a building and killing like a bunch of people. And so the Sokovia Accords are put together because all the world governments have decided that the Avengers can't just operate however they want. So we see a return of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, which is awesome because we haven't seen him since Incredible Hulk in 2008. And he's like, Avengers, you have to sign these accords or else you can't operate anymore. Tom Holland was super worried about his screen test with Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. And Robert Downey Jr. kind of like coached him through and said, hey, just pretend you're doing an audition and you'll do great. And he did. And he had great chemistry with the two leads, which was important because later in the film, there's that big battle between the Avengers. And there's an interaction between Robert Downey Jr. and Spider-Man. And then there's also interaction between Peter Parker and Steve Rogers, where they like have this little joke about them both being from New York. One's from Queens and one's from Brooklyn. So it was really important to have that chemistry, and the Russo Brothers did an excellent job casting Tom Holland in that role. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie is like literally all the interactions between the characters. You have like hilarious interaction between Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, where they're like both being like buddies to Steve Rogers and telling him to like go for Agent Carter, Sharon Carter, granddaughter of Agent Carter. Sorry, funny. And additionally, later in the movie, spoiler alert, Iron Man and Cap have this giant battle over the Winter Soldier because we find out that in his brainwashing, he was actually the one that killed Howard and Maria Stark, and it was like a big cover-up, but he did it. He assassinated them, and so Iron Man is obviously upset, and he's like, "Screw you! You killed my mom." And he wants to like take down the Winter Soldier, and Cap's like, "No, he's my friend. He was under brainwashing. No, we can't let this happen." So they like have this big battle, and both guys are like trying not to hurt their friend, but meanwhile, like they're both definitely trying to like resolve the situation where Cap is trying to prevent Bucky from being killed, and Iron Man is definitely trying to take him out. So Iron Man's like not using his full force. And like there's that awesome scene from the comics where like Captain America puts his shield up and Iron Man is like blasting the shield. Anyway, they're both pulling their punches. And then there's this part where like they rip off Tony's helmet and then pull his arc reactor, which I thought was a really cool allusion to the comics, because like if they hadn't done that, he would definitely have suffocated. I could go on forever about this movie. Baron Zemo is awesome. T'Challa, Black Panther is awesome. And it's a huge setup for a bunch of other movies too. You get to see this great setup for Infinity War, which is, and I think like categorically, everyone loves Infinity War. We wouldn't have gotten Infinity War if we hadn't gotten Civil War. And the reason, and I'll say this like till the day I die, because I've some of the guys here on the Crosstalk show have commented on this, but this was an amazing superhero movie because it allowed a bunch of characters to come together and not be overwhelming and not confusing. And that allowed the Russo Brothers to like raise the stakes for Avengers Infinity War and have even more characters in there. If people hadn't gotten used to the idea of seeing a superhero movie with a bunch of superheroes, they wouldn't have been able to watch Infinity War and get through it and like not be confused by like, oh, this person had like 30 seconds of screen time. Like Ant-Man's in this movie, and he just was in another movie. He's in there for like a cup of coffee. But the airport scene allowed all these characters to have this great interaction. Another thing that's great about Civil War is it allowed us to see how the story arc for Black Panther was going to get set up, which is another amazing movie. And we were introduced to Spider-Man, and then we had Spider-Man Homecoming, and then Peter Parker played a huge role in Infinity War too. None of these things would have happened if Marvel hadn't done such a good job of building us up to Civil War, which then set us up for Phase 3. So I think Civil War is an important movie. Another fun fact, in each of the first movies, in each of the 3 phases, Iron Man is a central character. So in the first phase of MCU, you have Iron Man. In the second phase of MCU, you have Iron Man 3. And in the third phase, you have Captain America Civil War. Civil War is a great movie. I could go on forever talking about it, but I'm not going to do that. I think you just have to go see it and watch it and enjoy it. Its runtime is about 2.5 hours, but Infinity War is 2.5 hours and 8 minutes. So watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. And this has been Watch Culture. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video if you liked my review / recommendation, and subscribe to the channel, which would be even better. Hit the bell for notifications. We got lots more reviews coming up, movies, board games, albums. You got it. Thanks for watching. Captain America #3, 'cause it's what made Avengers Infinity War happen. What the world needs now sweet love.